The royal family celebrates Mother's Day as the royal children's coronation roles are revealed.
I mean, you and I have little ones around Louis's age. That makes me nervous. But I think when he's surrounded by his big brother and sister, hopefully he'll have the support that he needs to keep it together.
Prince Harry needs to RSVP to the coronation as he may be deported over his past drug use.
You know, this is true. When you apply for a visa application, you sort of have to prove that you're a really upstanding citizen, that there's no chance you're going to be in any trouble in your new country. And you do have to declare that you've never, taken part in illegal substances.
Plus, more from our interview with royal historian Gareth Russell as to why King Charles may have invited Harry and Meghan to the coronation.
I also think you catch more with honey than vinegar, to quote the old proverb.
We've got that plus so much more in today's Royally Us. Hello to our fellow royal lovers and welcome to Royally Us. I'm Christina, that's Christine. And Christine, we have a wide-ranging group of stories today, and I don't think I'd want to be Prince Harry this week.
I would not want to be Prince Harry this week. His legal team is working double time, overtime. They're really racking up the legal bills.
Seriously, they're getting paid. All right, before we get into it, let's see what you guys had to say about last week's show. Di Moore said, I am so skeptical of their motives. I think they wanted the children's titles announced in an effort to make their way to the balcony at the coronation. Who knows? We don't, still $1 million question, but it seems like an RSVP is needed fairly soon. So hopefully we'll get our answer within the next couple weeks.
Oh, I hope so. Just so we can stop talking about it.
Right, seriously. Patty says, Catherine is such a beautiful lady. She and William are a lovely couple and wonderful parents. Certainly seems like it. And then they call him Darius, says, the great ladies who host this video are fantastic. I'm so glad I found this channel. All the other videos about Harry and Meghan are about 2 or 3 minutes in length. This is a half hour. And the comments and insights from these ladies are superior and more pleasant to watch than some loud mouth on the other channels. Thank you, ladies. I am subscribing, liking, sharing, and exasperating. Thank you so much. We love seeing all of your comments, and we love giving you guys the royal news each and every week, and love seeing your comments. So keep them coming.
Yeah, that's really, I think, given us a good boost in morale. And
definitely
know that we're appreciated.
Definitely. All right, so let's tackle this news for you guys. Of course, happy Mother's Day, Christine. Happy belated Mother's Day.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much. It always freaks people out when the royals release photos of the British Mother's Day, because the Americans are, the men are all like, oh no.
Yes, I know. I'm like, wait, did we miss something? No, our Mother's in May. But I hope you had a wonderful day, and it seems like the royals did as well. And King Charles celebrated the day by remembering his late mother, Queen Elizabeth. He wrote on Twitter, to all mothers everywhere and to those who may be missing their moms today, we are thinking of you and wishing you a special Mother's Day. The post featured 2 photos, one of Charles with the Queen, as well as one of his wife, Queen Consort Camilla, with her mother, Rosalind, who died at the age of 72 in 1994. Prince William also shared some love for Princess Catherine via social media. He posted this adorable picture of Kate with their 3 kids and captioned it, Happy Mother's Day from our family to yours. Love seeing these never before seen photos. It always, makes us smile.
I know, it's so special, especially the one of Kate with Prince Louis, where that's such a familiar moment for a lot of mothers. Mm-hmm. But it was also a really interesting reminder that although it feels like Queen Elizabeth II, it feels like 100 years since her passing, we're still, King Charles and their family is still going through that first year of firsts without her, the first Mother's Day since she's died. And so it was a really stark reminder for me to say, oh my goodness, even though it feels like it was so long ago, actually, this is the first Mother's Day since his mother has died. And so I was twice as emotional, I think.
Definitely. All those firsts are really, really difficult, but glad that they have a big family to kind of rally around, and hopefully they all got to spend the day together. All right. Well, the Princess of Wales stepped out at NatWest Bank's London headquarters for the first meeting of her new business task force for early childhood. Now, of course, this new group follows the January launch of her Shaping Us campaign to take what has been an area of scientific and academic interest into a strategically important one. Of course, we've been talking about this for years. She believes that early childhood is the key to people's long-term health and well-being. She hopes this business task force will play an essential role in the work that she plans to continue doing, really honing in on those first 5 years of life. And she's really made this her mission.
Yeah, and it's incredible to see all of the work that she's been doing. So the heads from the Lego group were there today at this business meeting because Kate met with them a few years ago on her official visit to Denmark. And so she's been working on this for years, networking and building this web of experts, of, key leaders in the industry. And a lot of this meeting was really about having these companies invest in early childhood to benefit them in the future. And it's hard. I think a lot of companies are thinking about immediate profits, immediate return on investment. So to have these companies and to start this conversation about investing in children so that 25 years from now, you have really, really, confident, healthy, mentally well adults to work in your company is an interesting concept. It's a good conversation to start.
It definitely is. And she's going to continue with these conversations for what seems like, years to come. So it's good. It's great work. And it's pretty fascinating, I'm sure, what she's going to kind of come up with. So excited to see what she has in store. Well, this is interesting. Prince William said that his mother, Princess Diana, would have been very disappointed at the lack of progress in preventing homelessness in the UK. So he made these comments while appearing in a video for this year's Red Nose Day charity appeal. He also visited people who were homeless, and he visited the charity Groundswell. So in the video, he says, "I think she would be disappointed that we are still no further on in terms of tackling homelessness and preventing it than when she was interested and involved in it." And obviously that was years and years ago. So to say that they haven't really made too much progress is definitely disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking 25, almost 30 years ago since Princess Diana had started this conversation. Prince William is now continuing the conversation. This is a cause that he's so passionate about. And he's right. They're no closer to a solution. There is support available for those who are homeless or sleeping rough, but there's no, large scale solution. There's no solving this problem. It's still a huge issue throughout the UK, but also throughout the world. And I think this Red Nose Day is a massive initiative throughout the UK. So a lot of people would have seen this message. Hopefully it didn't fall on deaf ears, and that, the people in charge have sort of been called out now, 25 years and there's really no progress, and you're letting Princess Diana down, So hopefully that can sort of push some progress and push some change forward.
Hopefully. Well, this was something that we always look forward to each and every year when the Prince and Princess of Wales celebrate St. Patrick's Day, and they join the Irish Guards for their annual celebration. So she wore this beautiful teal Catherine Walker and coat dress with matching hat and heels. Always looks fantastic. She, of course, is the honorary colonel of the regiment, a role she was only recently given by King Charles. This was previously held by Prince William, and they both gave speeches at the event. He gave, of course, Kate a shout out, saying that this was a true honor for him to kind of pass this over. And so take a quick look at what she had to say.
"I'm here to listen to you, to support you, and to champion you in all you do. This is a responsibility I do not take lightly."
It was a rainy day, but they managed to get through it.
Yeah, I really love this role change for William and Kate. So William is now Colonel of the Welsh Guards. And so Kate has stepped in as Colonel of the Irish Guards. She says, this is a responsibility. She doesn't take this lightly. She doesn't really want this to be just sort of a, frou-frou honorary cutting ribbon role. And she showed us that when she was there in the mud, in the dirt, in her fatigues, essentially meeting with the Irish Guards a few weeks ago. And I thought this was just a great event, showing how important this is to both of them. This position that William held and now Kate held. And I love Kate's teal coat matched the feathers and the bearskin caps of the colonels of the Irish, or not the colonels, the Irish Guards. Just showing how thoughtful she is when she selects these outfits. The buttons on her coat match the buttons on their dress coats. So well thought out. If you really look into these key details, I was blown away. And again, it just shows how seriously she takes this responsibility. Mm-hmm. She's not there just to cut ribbons. She really seems to want to be a part of the organization.
No, definitely. She's doing a great job so far, and can't wait to see what she continues to do. So, all right, like we said at the top of the show, this is not a good week to be Prince Harry. So let's spill some royal tea. And There's some rumors going around that maybe he could be deported. So the Heritage Foundation says his visa application must now be released so the American taxpayer can understand whether Harry declared his drug use. So the U.S. immigration law has harsh penalties for lying to immigration officials, including deportation and being barred from applying for citizenship. So as we know, he made these drug revelations in his book Spare. So Mike Howell, who is the director of the Heritage Foundation's Oversight Project, said this request is in the public interest in light of the potential revocation of Prince Harry's visa for illicit substance use and further questions regarding the prince's drug use and whether he was properly vetted before entering the United States. They, as experts have insisted that U.S. visa applications would usually be thrown out if there's any history of drug use. So his case raises the question over whether or not he was given special treatment because, of course, he is the Duke of Sussex and Meghan Markle is a TV star. So this could be illegal. I mean, he might have to pack his bags and move back home.
I can't imagine if Prince Harry gets deported, what a drama that would
be.
But, this is true when you apply for a visa application. You sort of have to prove that you're a really upstanding citizen, that there's no chance you're going to be in any trouble in your new country. And you do have to declare that you've never, taken part in illegal substances. I'm sure I do wonder how Prince Harry answered that question. And that's what they're calling for here. Either he's lied on his visa application or he's lied in all of these interviews. They're citing his book, his interview with Dr. Mate, several other times that he sort of mentioned all of his drug use, recreational drug use. So this will be an interesting story to see how it plays out. I'm not sure that this is a good look for Prince Harry.
No, this can come back and bite him, bite him in the butt. I mean, this could not be a good thing. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. There could be some repercussions to this. We'll have to wait and see. But like Christine said, his lawyers are definitely working overtime because they recently had their first day of many in court recently where they were arguing for an immediate decision or summary judgment in the prince's case against the Associated Newspapers, the publishers, the Daily Mail, Mail on Sunday. It's one of the 4 legal battles. I feel like we've been talking about this for years, but it just keeps going. So he is suing the Associated Newspapers for misrepresenting him in an article last February, which says his PR team tried to put a spin on his legal fight with the British government. He's suing the Home Office, arguing that they should reinstate his police protection when he and his family are in the UK, something that was taken away when he stood down as a working royal. He said that the Mail on Sunday article implied Harry was putting a PR spin on his offer to pay for his protection and that this only came at a later date, while Harry argues he suggested it all along. I don't know. I mean, this is why? I understand that, this, it has to do with protection of his family and this is a very serious matter. But you're really I just don't know if this is really scaring the Daily Mail or the Mail on Sunday to stop writing these articles.
I think that, part of the problem with this story is actually the legal process because it's so long and drawn out. We just keep hearing the same story, the same drama. Oh my goodness, why won't it go away? That's really because the legal process really likes to drag this stuff out. But he's just not doing himself any favors. It's almost like these lawsuits just feed the headlines and, just feed into the beast that is the Daily Mail, the Mail on Sunday, this sort of, Associated Newspapers press. And it never seems to work out for Harry and Meghan.
No, it never seems to work out for them. It is just... But it's like you said, it's like Groundhog's Day. They seriously, it just seems like it's the same thing over and over and over again. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with this one. We'll keep you updated. But now Prince Harry has been asked to give the UK Home Office 1 month notice that he will be traveling to the coronation because they have to, talking about protection, they have to figure out the security detail. They have a lot of things in motion. So according to a new report obtained by the Telegraph, after submitting the security request, it is up to the Home Office to decide the level of security that they will need. He, like we just said, he hit back at the office asking them to provide an example of someone like the former royal who didn't receive security after leaving the public eye. So maybe this is just a matter of security and how much security they will need. When we talked to Gareth, a couple of weeks ago, they said that, if they do come to the UK, they will be now staying at Kensington Palace, or I believe it was Kensington Palace. Buckingham Palace.
Yeah.
So, they'll be right there. They won't, it's not going to be that they're not going to be traveling to and from Windsor or anything like that, or from Frogmore Cottage.
Yeah. They're not staying in a hotel. Like, it's not.
Yeah. Like, you literally just got to walk downstairs. So
Right.
I don't know. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with this one as well. But it seems like, the date is rapidly approaching and he needs to make a decision pretty soon.
Yep. I think that I hope that Buckingham Palace and Harry and Meghan are smart enough to just announce their plans. No secrets, no surprises, because, you're just feeding into this story again. So I hope soon, pretty soon, that 1 month mark is coming up. Hopefully the public will be made aware of Harry and Meghan's plans, just so we can stop talking about it and really focus on what's important, which is the king's coronation. It'll be interesting. I feel like this isn't the last we're going to hear of this. I feel like maybe it'll be like an issue again. So let's wait and see, but I'm hoping that we can sort of wrap this up soon.
Wrap it up. Well, of course, everybody has an opinion on Harry and Meghan, and so does Brian Cox. So random. The Succession star spoke out saying that Meghan clearly had ambitions of joining the royal family before she married Harry back in 2018. He said Meghan had the childhood dreams of marrying Prince Charming and all that SHIT we see as fantasy that could be our lives and our dreams. You can't go into a system where where somebody's already been trained to behave in a certain way and then just expect them to cut themselves off. I mean, she knew what she was getting herself into. Now, he previously defended them, amid their ups and downs with the royal families. And, it seems like he definitely thinks a lot about Harry and Meghan.
I know, what a strange, why does this keep coming up with Brian Cox?
Right?
But everyone has such a strong opinion, I think. Even, you talk to anybody and they have such a strong opinion on it. So I'm not surprised I am surprised for hearing from him, but I'm not surprised that, when asked, a lot of people would have really strong opinions on Harry and Meghan. And it's always interesting to see the different perspectives and prerogatives.
Definitely. All right. This is a fun story. So Sarah Ferguson, she recalled dressing up as cops with Princess Diana for her hen party back in 1986 and admitted that the night got a little out of hand. She was on the Kelly Clarkson show and said that the waiter came up to us and said, "Excuse me, this is a members club and it's for fun and we don't serve police officers," looking straight at us. I love that so much because they were dressed up in police attire. Then when they exited the building, she said it was the only time Diana broke character. She said, "As we came out the stairs, a lady was getting out of a cab and Diana said, 'She's got my dress on.' And I say, 'Dutch, no, you can't say that. We're meant to be police officers.'" It was very funny. Her nickname for Diana was Dutch, and throughout their that she called her throughout their friendship. And she said that she went on to explain that they were arrested by Parks police. She said, "We go in the back of the van and Diana had put her engagement ring on the other way and I had put my engagement ring the other way. And we were sitting like this straight up. She just looked around the car and saw smoky bacon flavored crisps and started taking them and eating them. And the policeman in the front goes, 'You can't do that.' And then eventually they realized that it was Diana and me." I mean, what a story. I love that so much.
Imagine being the police officers. I just can't. I mean, having to, thinking that you've arrested them and then having to let them go.
Right. Yeah, no, so funny. It had to be like be like, "Oh my God, Diana is in the back of our car.
We're so sorry. We're so
sorry. Please leave." It's such a great story. I love it so much. All right. Well, speaking of great stories, it is time to break down the royal rules, and we are going to revisit our interview with Gareth Russell, who gave us his take as to why King Charles may have invited Harry and Meghan to the coronation.
Why do you think King Charles invited them, or specifically purposefully invited them and extended that olive branch?
This has been a sort of recurring theme in his life, actually. I didn't know this until I worked last year on the biography of his grandmother, the Queen Mother, and I found out that in the late 1960s and early 1970s, when Charles was still pretty young, he was one of the only members of the royal family who was prepared to go over to Paris to visit his great uncle, the ex-King Edward VIII and Wallace Simpson. And he's, said to the Queen Mother and to the Queen, "I think that we should be trying to build bridges between this side of the family. I think his uncle and his aunt should be brought back into the fold a bit." So there is a past track record of Charles doing things like this. And so that in that sense, it tracks it as consistent with what we know of him as a person. But I also think you catch more with honey than vinegar, to quote the old proverb. I think if one side, rightly or wrongly, is perceived as being the side that complains, and has had a real run of publicity, of interviews that are stating the same thing in slightly different words each time, then a very sensible PR move is for you to say nothing. And when you do say something, to say something positive. So I think it's probably a mixture of personality and pragmatism that has prompted him to do that. But I think you're right. I think the palace looks slightly more, I should point out, there are some people who absolutely loathe the royal household and the palace, and whatever they do, they will tend to see it as wrong or Machiavellian, or there's a hidden motive no one knows about. I think other people will see it that the palace looks slightly more detached from this drama than the Sussexes do. The palace is giving the impression that their goal is to get on with the slimming down of the monarchy, get the coronation done, whereas the Sussexes look much more focused on the personal aspect of things, which, considering that the Sussexes are a family themselves, I suppose that's not completely shocking.
What would Meghan and Harry's role or attendance even look like at the coronation at this point?
Well, a spanner has potentially been...
Pause. Do you know the answer to that? Because if someone asked me that, I wouldn't know.
I don't know, but I do know. I can tell you that a spanner has definitely been thrown in the works by a quite touching and popular decision that Queen Camilla has made, which is that, unlike previous queens consort who were crowned, the canopy over them at the moment of consecration was held by 4 duchesses. That's what happened with the future Queen Mother in 1937 and Queen Mary in 1911, and most of them going right the way back, Anne Boleyn and further. She has said she doesn't want 4 duchesses. She wants her 4 grandchildren to carry the canopy over her. Which is a lovely gesture. She's very close to her grandchildren, we know that. But what that does is it upsets the argument that since Harry is not a working royal, there's no place for him in the ceremony, because obviously Queen Camilla's 4 grandchildren are not only not working royals, they've never been working royals. So if a space can be found for them, I think it's a lovely idea by the Queen Consort. But I think if a space can be found for them, the palace is going to be very hard pressed to explain why no role could be found for Prince Harry. So I think, and I know that what the coronation is really cutting down the running time from the marathon events of the past. And part of that is that the dukes no longer not every duke has to take the oath of loyalty to the new monarch. And that includes other royal dukes. So when Elizabeth II was crowned in 1953, you had her uncle, the Duke of Gloucester, her cousin, the Duke of Kent, and obviously her husband, the Duke of Edinburgh, leading the dukes, royal and then non-royal, to take this oath of loyalty. We know that that's not going to happen, and that at the moment it only looks like Prince William, the Prince of Wales, will be taking that oath. And so the current Duke of Gloucester and the current Duke of Kent aren't going to be asked to do it. Well, quite interestingly, the current Duke of Kent is the Duke of Kent who took the oath in 1953. But I think that official avenue is probably closed to Harry. I wonder if it would have been... I think both sons should have been asked to take the oath, but that doesn't mean another role can't be found, simply because that traditional avenue of what the royal dukes would be doing in the ceremony won't be happening in 2023. To me, it doesn't mean that they can't find something for him. And I think if the palace is being sensible, anything that they do that can be spun as an insult will be spun as an insult by their critics. And so if I was them, I would be heavily avoiding anything that could look like a slight.
You know, Gareth, you're such an incredible historian with such a wealth of knowledge, especially about, we were just talking about really diverse members of the royal family. And looking in the future, when historians think back to Prince Harry, how do you think they'll categorize him, or how do you think they'll summarize him as a figure of history?
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of it depends on how successful William V's reign is. And and what happens with the monarchy in the next 20, 30 years with that benefit of hindsight, my instinct would be that a historian will probably say that Prince Harry and Meghan were a wasted opportunity by the royal family. I do think that. I think they will say that the amount of good and popularity that Harry and Meghan could have done had they stayed within the royal family would have been substantial and significant. Maybe one day there'll be more sources that come out, not just from Prince Harry's camp, but from other people involved about what the Sussexes were actually asking for. We might get a slightly more complete picture that validates Prince Harry's claims, invalidates some, validates others. I don't know. But my gut would be that we will find out that, I think historians will say what I've said, that they could have been a great asset to the British monarchy. But I wonder, will they say that there was a point at which, as by the way we now say about Edward VIII and Wallace Simpson, Edward wanted out, and Wallace was made to take the blame for that. So that could be a narrative we see repeated. But I think, as in the same way, historians will have to see how William V's reign go. I think we'll have to see what the Sussexes do next before historians make that decision, because I think they have had a long run of telling their version of events, and I think sympathizers and detractors are waiting to see what they will do next and what they will do differently.
All right, well, let's get into our pint-sized palace. And Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis will all reportedly be part of King Charles's coronation. The Times reported that the children will take part in the coronation procession from Westminster Abbey to Buckingham Palace, because the outlet saw the rehearsal plans for the ceremony. Of course, you know, it's crazy that it's just around the corner. May 6th is just a couple weeks away. And after they arrive at Buckingham Palace, the royal family will appear on the balcony to wave to onlookers to conclude the day. But it's going to be a really wonderful celebration. Hopefully, little Louis is behaving himself. Should be a lot of fun.
I mean, you and I have little ones around Louis's age. That makes me nervous. But I think when he's surrounded by his big brother and sister, hopefully he'll have the support that he needs to keep it together.
Definitely going to keep it together. It's going to be a lot of fun. Definitely going to make for some great photos, some great moments. And
it's amazing to think what a huge moment in history this is going to be.
It really is. It really is. All right. And we're going to be recapping it every single step of the way. As new details unfold each and every week, we'll keep you updated. But please keep commenting, keep subscribing, and Christine and I will see you guys next week. Bye. For more news, content, and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below and visit usmagazine.com.